This is the Page Publishing Book Club. Hey, what's going on? September. That's what's going on. Woo, how'd that happen? See ya, summer. Nice while it lasted, but woo, too hot to handle, right, Rob? Wow, little hot here in the Northeast, especially the month of August. What's really hot is our lineup of authors. Oh, you will not believe what we have in store for you tonight, and we are going to get right to it. Think American Idol for rock bands, and that's just where Eileen Shapiro's book begins. Listen up, Page Publishing Book Club fans. This interview isn't just about Shapiro's book entitled Precious Little Devils. This native New Yorker has some valuable information for you. How you doing, Eileen?
Well, the book is about a competition to find the best rock and roll band in the country, in the nation. And the mentors are old ex-80s rockers, and they become their mentors. But I don't want to give the book away because it's a cool book.
Yeah, but you gotta make me want to read it. Make me want to read it.
All right. Okay, so what happens is Tristan Bondage. Now, he has issues. He has medical issues. And he was badly beaten up before the show. Spent 9 months in the hospital, but he made it through. And he winds up falling in love with Brooklyn, who is one of the members of his band that he chooses on this rock and roll show. And it's a reality show. It's a cool reality show, and I think it really should be a reality show because it's a cool concept. And the book sort of follows their trials and tribulations. It's very dramatic. It's very colorful. The band itself, the Precious Little Devils, they consist of this girl, Brooklyn, plus a drag queen guitarist, and the rest of the members are all gay. So it's very colorful. It's full of heart. It's very cool.
Does it have any connection to your life?
Kind of, sort of. I write for a gay magazine called Get Out Magazine. I also write for a pop culture magazine in the UK called Louder Than War, and I also blog for Huffington Post. But what I do is I interview very, very cool A-list performers like Annie Lennox, Brooke Shields, Rick Springfield, Sandra Bernhard, Jennifer Hudson. I've interviewed them all. Cyndi Lauper. And from doing these interviews and writing to this gay magazine and being involved within the gay community as a straight girl, it had a big influence on the book. Plus the fact that because I do these interviews, I go to London and I interview people like Spandau Ballet and, just all these rockers that, and I've met, they're very loosely based on the rockers that I grew up loving, which I've met all of them, by the way. So yeah, it has a lot to do with it's the life I would have wished to have. How's that?
Yeah, but you know what? All these cool people that you've interviewed, now you've kind of built them into characters and put them into this book. It's kind of like you've come full circle with your career and all the things that you've done. I'm
getting to be full circle. I have 2 more people to interview, and I'm good.
I believe you.
Good. I mean, I've met them all. Some of them have even used my reviews on their album covers. It's kind of cool.
You know, not everybody can say they do this. People would love to do what you do.
I know. Right? I know. I am very lucky. It's a lot of hard work, a lot of pressure, but I love it. So I wrote the book. It's not my first book, but I wrote the book based on knowing whatever I know about these characters and then adding fiction onto the book so that it could be any character.
So are you promoting your book?
I am.
What are you doing?
I am. It's in the magazine every week.
There you go.
I've done 2 book signings so far. I did one in New York City at the Monster, and I had about 500 people show up. And then I just did one on Fire Island. That was very, very successful, even though it was 300 degrees. A lot of people bought the book, and a lot of people already bought the book before even the book signing. Just what it is that they know me in the gay community. I used to own a gay nightclub also. So I have somewhat of a following in the community. Like I wouldn't call it a following. They all know me. Let's just put it that way. They're all curious. It's a fast read. It's a great end of the summer read. And then I have people that have told me they couldn't put the book down And then I have people that aren't gay that are really conservative that love the book. So, I mean, it's for everybody. It's everybody over 13, let's say.
Yeah, well, you've got something else most writers don't have, and you hit the nail on the head. You do have a following. You definitely do. I mean, people know who you are, and that's something
They
most
do.
people. Yeah, so you've got to figure people who don't have what you have are listening. Do you have any advice for them, for aspiring writers?
You know what? A lot of people come to me and say, "Oh, I want to write a book," and the best advice I can give them: sit down and write it. And I
Wow.
also have to say, I don't know if I'm allowed to say it, but I'm going to say it anyway. Page Publishing has been amazing, because honestly, I had found a publisher that that wasn't like a self-publisher that was willing to publish the book, and my choice was Page. And believe me, it took me 6 months or even longer to decide. I did a lot of research. And your company has been amazing. So I would tell them also to find a self-publisher. Not to stress about, oh my God, is someone going to publish this? Just publish it. Just do it. Just do it. You have to just after you write the first word, it's easy.
Yeah.
It's easy. And everybody's interesting. Everybody has a life, and everybody has something to offer. So just do it.
And whenever I'm putting this, every week I have to, do my intro, and I just say, you're going to hear a group of writers. Which one speaks to you? Which one will be the one that inspires you, that convinces you that you have a story? Everybody's got a story. Tell it.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to tell it. Just sit down and do it. That said, I haven't written a book yet, and I don't know if I ever will. But
Alice, you need to sit down and write a book.
All right.
Because it sounds like you have a fun life too. So that's what you need to do.
Well,
you need to sit down, write a paragraph, and the rest will come to you.
All right, Eileen. All right.
Do you want to read the book? That's what I need to know.
I would love to read the book.
Good.
All right, precious little devils. I'll talk to you soon, Eileen. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Ever feel like life becomes so unbelievable that you can't believe it's real? Kirk Stewart and his wife lived a nightmare, and the story begins with Stewart's book entitled Trouble at Our Door. Kirk, tell us what happened.
It was the last weekend before I had to go back to work, and it was 8:30 in the morning on a Sunday, and there was a knock at the door, and I opened the door, and a man said, "Mister, that barn back there is on fire." Now, I lived in a rented house on 8 acres of land that was owned by a realty company and was for sale. And all I rented on the land, of course, was the house. And it was the land had been zoned commercial. As soon as it was sold, that was going to be commercial land. So I didn't own the barn, didn't rent the barn. It wasn't my barn, but it was an old barn. It was over 100 years old. And I wasn't surprised that it was on fire. And that's where the event began. And what this book covers from that day on July 13th until December 5th, 18 months later. And this book covers the time frame of what my wife and I went through during that period of time. Now, people go through unexpected events all the time, and they do come unexpectedly. But the situation that I was trying to express in this particular book is what two individuals go through in private during these events. I had a good family. I had a lot of friends. I lived in Memphis, Tennessee. I've been teaching school for almost 20 years and coaching with my brother, and I knew everybody in Memphis pretty much. But when this happened, nobody knew what she and I went through except she and I. That's what this book covers. It's a very emotional book, and we got a quick lesson in the federal judicial system in this event.
Were you somehow held responsible for this barn?
I was eventually convicted for what was found in the barn, and even though the people that committed the act were known and found and discovered, as a matter of fact, by the time they found them, they'd already been arrested in another state by the federal government and had been charged with the same crime in another state, and they actually pled guilty to that crime. And they came down and testified in court that they had committed the crime. They just accused my wife and I of knowing about it and being involved in it in some way. On the weekend of this fire, My wife and I had been in Alabama in a motel room, and we had left there and gone to Kentucky, and we had come back from a vacation 2 days early. And we kind of came back in the middle of the night, about 3 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday morning, and at 8:30 in the morning, this event happened, and a knock on the door. A guy riding a grown man riding a bicycle by the property said, "Mister, your barn's on fire." And I called the fire department, and let's set this event in order. So that's what this book covers, and it's so emotional because the events are true, and people don't know. When people go through tragedies, nobody really knows what goes on in that family except those members that go through it. And that's what this book covers.
All right, Kirk, I'm dying to find out what happened. Our next author is Carrie Malarkey. You never got any jokes about your last name, right?
Every day of my life.
It's a bunch of malarkey,
teachers,
right?
I knew what it meant.
Nobody says that. I know. You poor thing.
Oh, no, it's fine. It's something to laugh about.
Well, your writing experience is nothing to laugh about.
Yes, this is the first book I've had published, but I've had other short stories and poems published in literary journals previously. And I even went to Dublin, Ireland as a competitor in the Franco-Irish Literary Festival.
Okay.
But I've been writing since I was a child. I always had my little books scribbled away, all my stories, poems, things like that. I even write screenplays and plays.
And now you've published Little Girls Lost.
Yes, Little Girls Lost is a story about two young girls that are kind of torn away from their home by greed and jealousy of others and are lost in a forest that is dark, and then they must find their way back home. If you look at it in the bigger scale, because it's a book really actually that's good for all ages, because adults can see the undertone of the story. It's a story of life, finding your way, and that sort of thing.
I feel lost in a forest on a regular basis.
I think everyone does from time to time.
So what was the catalyst for getting this published?
Where it just felt like it was time, because I had written this quite a while ago, and then fiddling with it and working on the art and changing it and fine-tuning it. And, you know, I read it to my niece again, who loved it when she was about 4 years old. She's 12 now, and she still really loved it. So I was like, maybe I really should do something with this, since so many people have seemed to enjoy it that I've let see it. And I also got very lucky. I ran into a lovely gentleman who is an author and asked him for advice. And he read my manuscript and said it was one of the best he'd ever seen.
How did that happen?
We ran into each other at a dental office. He had been published 4 times previously, and I was like, do you have any advice for a young writer? And he's like, let me see your manuscript. It's an amazing coincidence, a great happenstance.
Are you doing any marketing?
I'm trying to do marketing through social media. I'm also contacting local libraries to do readings on weekends for children to try to get the word out there. But like I said, adults have enjoyed it and appreciated it because they can feel the underlying story and understand it and relate to it. I've had 60-year-olds tell me that they absolutely loved it.
So you're doing this in between everything else you're doing, right?
Right now I'm getting my PhD in human development and counseling. I previously already had a master's degree in community psychology and clinical counseling and a certified professional counselor. I kind of always keep going to school.
Yeah, but you want to help people. You want to inspire people, and that's a great thing. That's a beautiful thing, Carrie.
Oh, yes. Yes, I love working with people one-on-one. I love doing therapy. I love running groups. I'm a people person.
Right. So we'll read your book and we'll be found.
Yes, and, you know, I feel my creativity translates also into my work in helping people, because you got to sometimes be creative to find a way to get to someone.
I hear you, Carrie. All right, we have got to take a quick break. When we come back, a real-world guide to getting and staying in shape. How one man was sentenced to 45 years in jail and turned his life around. And how a computer and a dream inspired one man to get his first book published. Stay right there. We'll be right back.
Have you written a book and want to get it published? Then now's the time to call Page Publishing at 800-204-6099 and do it immediately. You see, they're looking for authors of all types types of books. And unlike most publishers, Page Publishing will take the time to review most of the books submitted to them. And they'll even give you their feedback. And if they like what they read, Page Publishing will get your book into bookstores and for sale online at Amazon, the Apple iTunes Store, and other outlets. They'll handle everything: copyright protection, printing, cover art, publicity, and editing. So if you've written a novel, a children's book, a cookbook, inspirational work, a book of poetry, or biography, and want to get it published, then you need to call Page Publishing and do it immediately. Call 800-204-6099 now for your free author submission kit. Your road to fame and fortune could very well start with this simple phone call. For your free author submission kit, call Page Publishing at 800-204-6099.
Welcome back to the Page Publishing Book Club. I'm your host, Alice Stockton Rossini. Rob Barrett's my engineer on the other side of the glass. You know, there's no shortage of how to lose weight and how to get in shape books on the market, but how about one from a guy who's worked out his entire life and can offer real-life experience? Michael Fry thinks he's the guy to get you moving in the right direction with his book entitled Less Pain, More Gain, a Real-World Guide to Getting and Staying in Shape. Michael.
Just my own personal experience. I've been doing it for, like I said, 30 years roughly. Almost every day. There's been a few times over the years where I might not have done it for a period of time, but for the most part, whole life, pretty much since I've been in high school.
What do? Do you weight lift, run? What's your...
My main thing is weight lift with free weights. I do a little bit of cardio, but my mainstay is free weights in machines. Part of the premise of the book is figuring out what you like to do and then do it, you know, because unfortunately that was kind of the biggest thing. I just have a lot of friends and family that are always starting things and stopping them, you know, diets and workout programs, and they're always asking me, hey, what should I do? Advice to most people, or to everyone actually, is to just try a lot of different things until you find what you like. You know, a lot of people become intimidated and they're like, hey, I got to do the P90X thing. And then, oh man, this is like really painful. I don't like it. So I just stopped working out altogether, thinking that that's the only way, you know, to work out.
What I like to watch are runners, and you can tell when they're running how much they hate it. They have a look on their face like, oh my God, I can't do this. I see people, we've had a lot of heat in the Northeast, and you don't have to run when it's like 150 degrees and
Right.
the humidity is over the top. And if you're miserable doing it, like you said, you're not going to keep it up. But I guess the key is finding what you like. And how do you do that?
First off, you know, to try to kind of remove that stigma that, like, there's just one way to work out. You know, everybody's different. Everybody's body's different. You know, you see some person do a particular diet and they lose a bunch of weight, and you see another person do that same diet and they don't, and then they become frustrated and give up. So the point of the book is really not to get discouraged, but to just realize that, you know what, I need to figure out what works for me.
So, you know, you've got a lot of competition out there. You know, every trainer on the planet has put out a book.
Right.
And, you know, there's diets in it, there's exercises in it, there's all the things that you're talking about. So what sets you apart?
What sets me apart is that I don't subscribe to any one thing. It's just something that, you know, over the years, it's something that I've enjoyed. It's a hobby that I enjoy doing. Something that a lot of people ask me about all the time. And I say, you know what? I just want to write this book, and if it benefits somebody, great, you know. But I'm just not a big fan that there's just one way to do things, you know. And typically, any workout program you see, or they kind of stick to that one particular program. So what sets me apart? I don't know. There might be another book or two out there, or some other trainers that have that same opinion. I just have never really ran across that just says, hey, maybe if you like to bicycle in the morning, that's your workout, you know. And if we're just stuck to this one regimen, this one video, this one book, and then when it doesn't work out for you, you're kind of done. And that's kind of historically what I've seen, you know. If it's not enjoyable, it won't be sustainable. And when you see pain in people's face, to your point, when you're saying people running and then they look like they're in a lot of pain, you can do that for a period of time, but I just don't think that's sustainable. And I'm an advocate. Try many things. Try the workout video. Just realize that it may only work for a period of time for you, or it may not work at all. But whenever that time comes that, you don't enjoy it, just move on, move on to something else, and don't give up on the entire process.
All right, Michael, I am with you on that. Maurice Van Diver has had some serious trouble in his life, but somehow he found a way to turn it all around. And we find out how in his book entitled, Let's Go. Tell us your story, Maurice.
Well, I've had quite a bit of ups and downs in my life, and I just believe it's some people out there that might feel the same way or going through something like that, so I figure I would write it to give them some inspiration to make it through their hard times. I come from Detroit, so it's like I've been in street life, been locked up several times. I've been sick, bedridden, and it all hit me at one point that I didn't think I was going to make it anymore, but, God seen me through it, and He just gave me the inspiration to just try to help somebody else that was feeling like life is over.
Well, I mean, I'm reading your blurb. You said you've been shot, you've been stabbed, you dropped out of high school, you became homeless, you've been incarcerated several times, and after 20 years, you just made a decision to turn your life around, and that's pretty amazing. You got your GED, your associates, and your bachelor's.
Yes.
So now you've made it your life's work to inspire others.
Yes, I'm trying. I'm trying to be a living testimony to somebody, because I know somebody is following my footsteps.
It's really hard to break that cycle. How did you do that?
Well, my last prison sentence I was given 45 years. Yeah, in 2004, I was given 45 years. And the first 5 years, I was just acting a mess. I was up in the prison system, and I was just belligerent and just acting up. And just one day, I just looked in the mirror, and I just seen how my life was going. I just decided to just make a change. Even if I had to do all that time, I felt like I needed to change, and I wanted other people to see that I've changed. So,
what did you do?
I just had some drugs. I mean, it was because of my past that my sentence was enhanced. So somebody for a first-time offense to be a couple years, but because of my extensive past, it gave me some enhanced sentencing. So that woke me up. After about 2008, that's when I decided I'm going to start reading the books. And from the books I've read, they helped me to focus and eventually write some myself. I've been out for over a year now. They let me out 9 years early because of my good behavior and positive attitude and contributions I did inside the prison. Certain programs that, help you think and become a better person. I participated in all of those, and I just reshaped my thinking and reshaped my life.
Are you able to be with people who need your help?
Yes. I have a son, and he's 14 years old, so it's like we haven't bonded the way I want it or as fast as I want, but I just want him to know that I'm here for him, and I'm a better person than I was before when I left him.
Are you able to work as a counselor?
Well, I think I might need some additional training, so because of my work schedule at my job, I haven't had the time to pursue those opportunities online or whatever. So,
what do you do?
I'm a machine operator at a paper plate company. We just make paper plates all day, 24/7.
That could get crazy, huh?
Oh, yeah, hot and crazy. But it's keeping me out of trouble, paying my bills, and making me feel like a really good guy.
All right. Well, good for you. If you can do it, so can someone else.
Right.
All right.
That's my main motivation for writing it.
All right, Maurice. Finally, Scott Rice started writing 40 years ago, but it was a combination of a dream and graduating from a typewriter to a computer that enabled him to publish his first book. It's called Timelines Intertwined. Tell us about this dream.
Sounds strange, but, I just started thinking about this, and it took a different tack from what it originally was, but it started from that dream. And it just kind of developed from that dream. And, of course, 40 years ago, you sat down in front of your manual typewriter and, you type things out and, it took forever. And today, because there's so many tools to make you a writer, to make you a better writer, to be able to create your ideas and start off and put something down and then decide, no, I don't like that. And you can then go back and edit it. And sometimes you decide, well, actually, I like the first one better. Or, so there's so many things available today that allowed me to kind of fulfill what I considered a avocation, to kind of make a vocation out of it.
So what's your book about?
It's a science fiction type thing. I don't get into the things that cause people's eyes to glaze over on time, but it has my own aspect of how time is arranged and, what happens when things can go awry in the pursuit of time travel. So it's taking the time travel and doing the what ifs about it and what ultimately may happen. And
so your character travels throughout different periods of time.
Correct. It's all in his lifetime and what could happen in that particular person's life. How things could change because you make changes that you don't realize, and then once those changes are made, you may not be ever able to correct them to get back to where you originally were. Isn't
that true in life, huh?
Oh yes. Many things when you look back, you can say, well, wow, why did I do this differently and this differently?
The what ifs.
The what ifs, correct, exactly. I have my own website, ScottWritesBooks.com. Before the book came out, I wrote some short stories, called snippets in there of kind of the what ifs that this could have happened in the book, or it may not have happened in the book. You got to read the book to find out. And so I've done that. I've done the Facebook. I'm Twitter. I try to stay active in all of the different social medias. And again, another tool we didn't have 40 years ago.
Yeah, imagine life without WordPress, Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram. Shall I go on? What if, huh? What if we didn't have our cell phones to check every freaking second, Rob? What would our lives be? Oh, look what time it is. We got to get out of here. Oh, and my son called. Wait. Oh, I'm feeling the urge to tweet. Stop me, Rob. Stop. I'm kidding. Thank you so much, Page Publishing Book Club faithful, for hanging out with us tonight. Come back next week. Same time, same place for another edition of the PPBC right here on 710 WOR.